Hey guys, game just wrapped up, and I guess that's what you get when you have a game between two teams that haven't played in over a month. A little bit messy. Both teams, I think, would want to have some of those plays back. I think both teams would want to have this one back in some ways, but Washington prevails 27 to 20. Decent game, only kind of got close there at the end. There was definitely a sense of inevitability around Washington winning for most of this game, I think. But they got the job done. They found a little bit of an unconventional way to win, I would say. They found a little bit of an unconventional way to a victory, not doing the things that they usually do really well, and then finding ways to win anyway. So, I mean, that's got to be pretty good, right? You got to be pretty happy about a game where you didn't do your best stuff in your best areas, and you still find a way to get the win. So Washington goes to 11-2. By the end of the year, after the playoffs are over, I'm sure they're going to be ranked top 10. They got a real chance to be ranked top 10 when the season starts next year. It's a monster turnaround for a team that was terrible last year and looked kind of hopeless too. Now it feels like the sky's the limit. I feel like this team could win the national title next year if they develop their defense a little bit. I feel like this team could win the Pac 12 easily. I feel like they should be feeling very good about their position. So I'm I'm really happy about all that. I'm happy so many of these guys are coming back for 2023. I'm happy that it looks like most of the offense, I think we're going to lose like Jackson Kirkland, but for the most part the offense is sticking around, and I believe this team can get better easily next year. I believe this team can just improve their margins a little bit here and there, just little things here and there, man. Our two losses this year, one score games, competitive games, back and forth games. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the challenge of winning what should be a better conference next year. Oregon will be good. USC will be really good. Probably Utah again will be really good. But this is exciting. And even though this game was not our purest effort, even though this game was in many ways one of our worst efforts this year, and even though I think it's fair to say we kind of escaped and circumstances allowed this game to be what it was more than our excellent play, you still see the stuff that should make this team really special going forward with so many of these players returning for 2023. So, super good season. Now, this game, though, I don't know what was up with Penix. He played like a guy who had to drive to San Antonio instead of flying, which he did. He played like a guy who hadn't played in a month, which he was. Actually, 5 weeks. So maybe some of it's understandable. Maybe some of it was predictable. But that was not good. That was his worst game of the year. He missed many throws. The interception was bad. That might have been more on the receiver, granted, but he missed frequently. He couldn't get anything going deep after the first play of the game. The first play of the game, he hits the flea flicker. And then after that, he just couldn't hit anything over the top. He started having some success when he started going underneath. He started having some success when they kept things around the line of scrimmage, just short little dinky passes. But that was not his best effort at all. And he was playing against a Texas defense that was missing one of their better defenders. I think Sanders is his name. He was sitting out for this game, their linebacker. So I don't know what to say about it. There were definitely some miscommunications with the receivers, but Penix probably had his worst game of the year. I think we can honestly say that. Still made some plays, and the most important thing was he came through in third down and manageable. When we got into like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, over and over again he came through. And that's how, despite the struggles, he was able to keep the offense moving. We were able to win time of possession. We were able to really dominate the ball. I think we had the ball for well over 35 minutes in this game. Shout out to Talu Papa, who had a really nice game, 100 yards on the ground and a couple screen passes. really supported this offense when the passing game was not clicking the way it usually was. So I I don't know. It was kind of nice to be able to have a game where Penix doesn't have to completely drag you to the win. He's able to make mistakes, miss a lot of throws, not make any of his trademark big plays, and you run the ball effectively with Talu Papa, and he's able to at least come through on the manageable third downs and a couple of fourth downs as well, actually. So you put all that together, and it's enough to put up the 27 points to win the game. So the offense will be better than this in the future, I'm sure. Especially if they get all these players back. We're going to lose one or two guys. But overall, it feels like the offense could get better with another year, extra experience. This was not the greatest game that McMillan and Odunze have ever had. You know they can be better than this, although I will say that touchdown catch by McMillan was relatively incredible. And the catch he made on third down on that drive where we were beating the clock up at the end was massive. So the offense, good, not great. Defense, talking about this defense for a second here. Um, it was a very weird game plan, I felt like. I don't really know what was going on there. I felt like we were giving receivers a 20-yard cushion for most of the game, and Quinn Ewers was just able to kind of check it down all day, just dink and dunk his way down the field, and we weren't challenging receivers at all. But whenever they went deep, it felt like we were getting beat, and Quinn just missed the throw, or the receiver just missed the catch, or something bad just happened like that, where even though we were giving all this cushion, they could still beat us deep. It was weird. And yet they never punished us. And this is kind of where I say we kind of benefited from the situation. Texas left a lot of stuff on the field in this game. The drop pass that would have been a touchdown, and I think it was the third quarter. They had a bunch of one-on-ones where a receiver was open and Quinn missed him, or the receiver just couldn't make the adjustment, couldn't find the ball in the air, stuff like that. It was just really, really kind of an ugly game for that Texas offense as well, and a big part of it was they had no Bijan. And I don't think they had their backup running back either. They were down their top two running backs. So I look at that and I go, what would this game have been with Bijan? Because Texas really couldn't run the ball that well in this game. Texas, one of the best running teams in the league, could not run the ball because they don't have their guys. So that's three key players that were sitting out for Texas that affected this game. Washington didn't really have any of those. They had our main horses. We had Jackson Kirkland playing at guard, which was new, but he was out there. So I don't know. I do think that if Bijan was out there, it would have been a different story, but he wasn't. And I will say this defense did a good job making plays in the backfield. This defense did a really good job making big stops on like third and short and a second and short, forcing difficult fourth down situations. But it really felt like Quinn just didn't have a good game. It really felt like that Texas's offense was just off. A lot of drops, a lot of miscommunications, bad throws, all kinds of stuff. So I'm not, jumping up and down in my seat about the way the defense played in this game, but they found a very unconventional way, I feel like, to hold up. They were giving all that cushion to receivers. They were giving up everything underneath, and it never really came back and bit them. So, got to be pretty happy about that. I'm not saying they played perfectly. This was not their best effort of the season by any stretch, but that's a good Texas team. At the end of the day, they're missing some of their top players. It's still a good team. You found a way to go into basically a Texas home game with the refs against you, and you won. And that's really all I got to say about this one. Catch you guys later. Bow down to Washington, 11-2, looking to bigger and better things in the future.